Hey cinema fans, welcome to Cinema Spree, and this is the rewatch of The Dark Knight. You know, if you were to ask me about this film, about before really this year, I would have told you that The Dark Knight is my favorite film, Batman film of all time. And then Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson decided to do The Batman. To this day, I still have debates with myself and others which Batman film is the best Batman film. Now, this isn't a comparison video, but I just wanted to say that when it comes to The Dark Knight, I think it's the best Batman told story and the best Bruce Wayne and the best film. But here's the thing. The Dark Knight, really Batman Begins and The Dark Knight hold dear to my heart. I really do enjoy those films, even The Dark Knight Rises, even though there's some issues I have with that. For the whole trilogy itself, I really enjoy. So I can't wait to see what the Batman and that whole trilogy plays out. Hopefully it's just as good as the Dark Knight trilogy. And, you know, but overall, I mean, from the score, the score of The Dark Knight. I mean, the score of the Batman Begins. I mean, the Batman score is great. And again, this is not a comparison video, but when it comes to the Dark Knight trilogy, the score is freaking phenomenal. Hans Zimmer, and I forgot the other musical conductor. I can't remember his name, but Hans Zimmer, dude, come on. Come on. Besides the 89 Danny Elfman Batman theme, this is the number 2. Now, we haven't even got into the Joker or Harvey Dent or Rachel or Alfred, and we're going to get into that to the other parts of this rewatch episode. But this episode, I just wanted to make it very clear. I really do love the Batman, but I really, really, really love the Dark Knight. And I don't really know where it fits as in which one is the best film. I know some people are very definitive in what they feel and how their opinion. I respect their opinions, and I get it. If you think the Batman's better than the Dark Knight, I get it. If you think the Dark Knight's still better than the Batman, I get it. If you think the whole trilogy, Dark Knight trilogy, which is kind of hard to compare to one film, compared to 3 films, but still, I get it though. Stick around for part 2, and thank you for watching, cinema fans, and let's get into part 2. Hey cinema fans, welcome to Cinema Spree, and this is Rewatch part 2 of The Dark Knight. So, we gotta talk about Heath Ledger and the Joker, right? Come on now. Arguably, this is probably the best iteration of Joker, or execution of the Joker. Of course, you got the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, which I keep debating with people. Yes, it's titled the Joker film, but this is Joker. This is the best Joker. Now, you can talk about the 89 Joker, but this is the definitive best version, live action version of the Joker. And yes, you can say, well, Mark Hamill, that's voice acting. I'm talking live action. And people will have that debate, well, what about Joaquin Phoenix? Well, it was literally a prequel to the Joker. We didn't actually get to see the Joker towards the end of the film when he's with his Joker supporters, you know, cheering him on as he's getting out of the cop car. That's Joker. That's the Joker. But I'm sure we'll get that in Joker 2, because I believe it's coming out with Lady Gaga and stuff like that. But besides all that, every time Heath Ledger's Joker gets on screen, it's just a mixture of comedy, but also kind of like what the F moments to the freaking, oh my God, like this dude. Even I've seen this film a trillion times. Every time I watch it, it's like I watched it for the first time. It's just the performance, it's so good. And I just kind of wish we got more of him, because I know they were planning on bringing him back to like the 3rd Batman film, but sadly we lost him due to suicide. And I can get into that whole thing, but we're not going to touch that. This is strictly The Dark Knight, but man, there were moments in the film where I wasn't rooting for him, but I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if he won. And technically he did win, even though at the end, Batman decides to, hey, I'll take the fault of the killing those people that Harvey Dent killed, so Harvey Dent can be the White Knight, be the hero that Bruce has been looking for, even though it's kind of a hero with blood on his hands. And in a way, that's how Joker wins. But, and then we get to the third film and that whole fiasco. But look, Heath Ledger's Joker is just, I freaking love this version of the Joker. It's my favorite Joker. I grew up watching this. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. Stick around for part 3. Now, I mentioned in my Batman Begins rewatch how much I like Rachel in that film, but when it comes to this film, I wasn't a big fan of. I know it's played by 2 different actresses, but I feel like her character really didn't have much for this film. That was probably one of the biggest things about this film, is that, and I'll say this before anything, I feel like when it comes to Batman himself, I feel like there wasn't an arc. Like, yes, there was a bit of it, like, yes, he goes from being the most loved hero vigilante to the most hated at the end of the film. But when it comes to, I feel like when it comes to the Batman, there really wasn't an arc. It really was Harvey and Gotham. It really was Gotham and Harvey. Batman so happened to be a part of that. But also with Rachel, I feel like Rachel was kind of the nail to the coffin of Harvey Dent, thus being born Two-Face. And Rachel was kind of that last shining light for Harvey as much as it was for also Batman. And you kind of see Batman kind of go into a downward spiral, and Dark Knight Rises a little bit, or he's already there. But, even with the third film, they kind of like say like, oh, crime has been down since Harvey Dent, even though he's dead. Him being a White Knight at the time inspired other cops to do good and try to save the city, even though they ignored the fact that Bane. But this isn't The Dark Knight Rises. This is The Dark Knight. This film really takes a lot from The Long Halloween. Like the Mark Bills, there's nods to it, like the Mark Bills, joke, Two-Face going around killing people not figuring that out, trying to figure out the killer. This whole cat and mouse between Batman and Joker, even though Joker does play a part in The Dark Knight, The Long Halloween in the comics, but overall, there's a heavy inspiration from The Dark Knight. Long Halloween. Well, The Dark Knight to the Halloween. But anyway, the point is, I'm trying to say is that I wish we had more. And even the Batman film, the new one, took inspiration from that. But I feel like there's so many other great stories from Batman that I wish we had more drawing inspiration from other comics. I think we're about to get that with the sequels of the Batman, like the Court of Owls, and so many more, like the Death in the Family and stuff like that. Stick around for the part 4 and final part of the rewatch, The Dark Knight. Now, I said in the beginning of this rewatch, talking about Hans Zimmer and how much a score is freaking phenomenal. Literally, like, the first moments of this film, the opening where Joker's goons are killing each other, and the whole build up at the bank robbery, and the score playing in the background. It even levels up the whole scene. Even though I feel like even without the score, if it was just plainly just no score at all, it would have been a great scene. But the score itself just elevated not just this scene, but the whole film. Every moment of this film, even the slow moments where the score was just beautiful. Even today, if you go look up like motivational videos, like they play the score in the Dark Knight Rises score all the time. It's such a great score. Harvey Dent. So the whole thing with Harvey Dent, I think when it comes to Harvey, I like how I think he best represents Two-Face, even though there hasn't been a lot of great iterations besides the animated Batman series of Two-Face, the guy that voiced Two-Face, but he just does it very well, representing what Harvey Dent was in the comics and how he turned out to be Two-Face, and the whole Long Halloween inspiration from that is just, again, just like the score, beautiful. And the whole keeping him the White Knight, keeping him to being the hero for Gotham, because Gotham is suffering right now, and Gotham chooses to do good. Like at the scene, the whole boat scene, you know, the prisoners and the regular civilians deciding not to kill each other and proving Joker wrong. I mean, everything about that is just beautiful and says something about Gotham, but really it holds up to today and the world today and how we can even learn from it. And I loved how Alfred was kind of somewhat the crutch, kind of like the root of Bruce, and what somewhat, if there was an arc for Bruce, he was the arc. He was kind of saying that there's limitations to the Batman, and I feel like we really emphasized that in Dark Knight Rises. He was kind of setting the stage for that. But I really love Alfred in this, and also Fox as well. Overall, I love this film. Again, this is one of my favorite Batman films. I'm still debating which one's better, the Batman, or maybe there'll be a video for that in the future. If you haven't rewatched this 1,000 times, I recommend rewatching it again and again and again and again and again. It's just a great Batman film. Forget everything else, even though there is another great Batman film, tons of them, like the Masked Phantasm, the Batman himself, the whole film. Look, this is just a purely great Batman film. I remember watching this, and also with the whole Arkham games coming out, it was just a great time to be a Batman fan. I give this a score of a 9.2 out of 10. Thank you for watching, cinema fans.